Good Monday morning, everybody. It is Monday, December 9th today. Thank you all for choosing to join me here this morning. We've got a whole heck of a lot to cover today, or we've got a whole heck of a lot that I would like to cover today. We are going to get started here. So today's December 9th, and today is actually in Arda today. It would be, I need to do math. It would be the 20th of Four-Yule in the Shire Reckoning calendar. So happy 20th of Four-Yule. We're getting close to the end of Four-Yule. Four-Yule will be ending on the 30th of Four-Yule, or the 20th of December for us humans. This day in Arda, as always, Frodo and Sam are resting in Rivendell, preparing for their journey to Mordor. They're going to rest here until Christmas. So we've just got a couple more weeks until they're going to start up on their journey. Let's go to Today in Tolkien. Today in Tolkien, Tolkien wrote a whole schwack of letters. He wrote quite a few letters, but we'll start off with his earliest letter, which was in 1943. He wrote letter 53, and this letter summarized that life had lately been such a rush that Tolkien hadn't seen C.S. Lewis or Charles Williams for weeks, yet there was little to report. No fun, amusement, new ideas, or even thin, small jokes, and even the newspapers with nothing but Teheran Ballyhoo. Teheran Ballyhoo. That's a fun reference. Tolkien was sickly amused that the bloodthirsty murderer Joseph Stalin invited all nations to join to abolish tyranny and intolerance. Tolkien thought that Winston Churchill looked like the biggest ruffian in the photos. Tolkien lamented in this letter that the globe was getting smaller, duller, and flatter, foreseeing American sanitation, moral pep, feminism, and mass production introduced everywhere, which would at least cut down travel. Colonial Knox said that 1/8 of the world spoke English, which Tolkien called a damn shame. He called for the curse of Babel to strike all tongues and considered refusing to speak anything but Old Mercian. Seriously, Tolkien found Americano cosmopolitanism terrifying. He was unsure if victory would be much better for the world as a whole. This was some sentiment that a lot of folk, but indicated no lack of patriotism. Tolkien loved England, but not Great Britain, and certainly not the British Commonwealth. But were he younger, Tolkien figured that he would be grousing in the military, willing to go to the bitter end, and hoping that things might turn out better for England. Quite a talky person. And then we'll jump ahead to 1959, in which Tolkien wrote letter 222. And this letter was written to Rainer Unwin. Unwin wanted Tolkien's translation of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight and Pearl. Tolkien replied that he was immersed, with the help of his secretary, in the reconstruction of the Silmarillion, but that Unwin's letter was a timely reminder that he should work on the poems. After inspection, he stated that the translations did not need much work and that he could send the text of the two poems after Christmas. So about 20 days later, 14 days later. Although uncertain about what to add as introductory material or notes, he did not think that much was needed since people would either just want the translations or, if they wanted more, could find editions with full treatments of the problems presented in the poems. And then in 1965, Tolkien wrote a letter to William McCullum. And this letter, this is a nice, short, and sweet one. Tolkien is grateful for McCullum for having sent him a royalty for the Ace Books edition of The Lord of the Rings. In 1965, he wrote a letter to Jane Dixon, in which he was grateful to Dixon having sent him a copy of an article in the Saturday Review about the Ace edition of The Lord of the Rings. He also writes that neither he nor his publishers intended to give Walt Disney permission to make a film of his books. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. So he didn't want Disney touching his books. All right. And then in 1965, so same day actually, he wrote 4 letters on this day in 1965. He was a busy bee. He wrote a letter on this day also to Miss Jaworski. In the words of Hammond and Skull, Tolkien writes that he is not interested in drama and does not want his work dramatized. That's an interesting letter. I wonder why he wrote that. And then he wrote a letter to Christine Jones. And it's a reply to Jones' comments on the climax of The Lord of the Rings, which he found interesting, and he apologized for a short letter. And an excerpt from this letter says, "If I answered all the letters I received as they deserved, I should write nothing else." But Tolkien did write quite a lot of letters. He was quite a connoisseur of letters, and that's why we now have, the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien. So on this day also, in 1932, author and interviewer Jan Broberg was born. And Broberg was a Swedish author, literary critic, and leading expert in Sweden on crime, detective, and mystery stories. And Jan Broberg corresponded with Tolkien, suggesting an interview that was to be published in the Swedish language edition. And then on this day in 1956, the 4th episode of the 1956 radio series by BBC Radio 3rd program aired The Lord of the Rings. So this was the Fellowship of the Ring, which had 6 episodes to it. And then last but not least, on this day in history, in 2000 and, let me grab it here. In 2013, the Desolation of Smaug was released, or the soundtrack to Desolation of Smaug was released. So yeah, that is your guys' Today in Tolkien. Now let's move on to our quote of the day. So let's see here. Let's go down to the Lay of Lethian. So this is the 3rd chapter of the Lays of Beleriand. And it goes like so. For little price do elven kings their daughters sell, for gems and rings and things of gold. If such thy will, thy bidding I will now fulfill. On barren son of Barahir, thou hast not looked the last, I fear. Farewell, Tinuvial, starlit maiden, ere the pale winter pass snow laden. I will return, not thee to buy with any jewel in elveness, but to find my love in loveliness, a flower that grows beneath the sky. That's from the Lay of Lethian. All right. So moving on to D&D discussions. So both of my, or all of my D&D games were canceled this weekend. I did have one game that was lined up for yesterday, but we had to cancel it due to people being sick with the flu, which is on par for this time of year. But I do still have D&D news, because in my the server that I admin for, the Forge Concordance, which is a West March D&D 5th edition server dedicated to the 2014 version of D&D, not the 2024 version of D&D. We do have news. So I have been feeling very festive, and as such, myself and members of the mod team at the Forge Concordance have decided to put on a little micro event at the server this next month. So starting December 7th, we have launched what we are calling the Winter of Miracles. So during this Winter of Miracles micro event, players are able to purchase holiday miracles for other players. It is a small little event. It's not what we consider a main event or a mini event. Those are a bit larger, and they actually require involved developed storylines for our DMs to run different games on the server. To succeed in certain aspects, there's goals and milestones that are met during main events and mini events. But this micro event is just it's more involved in the out of game aspects. So players can buy these holiday miracles, and there's 3 different miracles. So we've got peace, goodwill, and health. Peace will give players a +1 to AC for 1 minute. Goodwill gives them a +D4 to 1 saving throw rolled within a minute. And then health gives them temp HP equal to twice their proficiency bonus. So they can purchase 1 gift for 1 individual to a maximum of 5 individuals per person. So 1 person can purchase 5 different people a gift, and then they're done on their holiday miracles. And these gifts come in the form of a gift box wrapped in ribbon with the recipient's name on it. So these are a free action to open. They don't require an action to interact with the magic item or anything like that. It is a free action to open them, and at the end of this event, so we have this event going for about a month's time, up until January 7th. So at the end of the event, any unused holiday miracles go poof. They are null and void. So it encourages our players to use those gifts right away. They don't hoard them. We also have a limitation on the usage per game. So 1 player can use 1 holiday miracle per game. And that helps with the balance from the DM side of things, so that we're not spamming a bunch of broken stuff in games for our dungeon masters. So that's my little update. We also are allowing our DMs for every game that they run over the course of this event, so December 7th to January 7th, they are giving out trinkets to our players. So there's three different trinkets that we have. We've got a snowflake encased in resin. We have a Vescalan Queensguard Nutcracker. So Vescala is the capital, say, of Daloon in the homebrew world for the Forged Concordance, where our guild is set at. So we've got a little Queensguard Nutcracker, and then finally we have ugly sweaters, because who wouldn't want a ugly sweater for the holiday season? So those trinkets are being given out during every game played during the course of this event. So they don't need to be necessarily event themed games in order to give out these trinkets. And basically the guild master Basha, who's a little bit of a cranky little bit of a crankier dwarven paladin. She is, handing out these gifts to people who are working for the holidays. So, yeah. So that is my D&D news this week. It's not a whole heck of a lot, but it is, I think, quite fun. And I'm quite enjoying seeing the different people on the server interact with this event, and seeing them interact with one another. People are writing like cute messages to one another. It's really promoting a happy environment and a feel-good environment on the server. The other thing too is that we recently promoted 3 new mods to our moderation team. So I am actually the buddy mod to one of these mods. So I'm going to be busy providing counsel, direction, supervision, and just orientation to a new moderator on our team. We've got one of our other admins who's also a buddy for a new moderator. And then finally, we've got one of our moderators who has stepped up to provide buddying to one of the new folks. So 3 new mods. We're going to be really, really busy getting them oriented and up to speed on everything that is involved with the moderation team, with our processes, that kind of stuff. But we are happy to take it on and happy to have new folks join our team. All right, so couple things. First and foremost, starting probably next Monday, I'm going to actually be jumping over to the Kindly Cleric to take part in his Middle Earth Mondays going forward. So for those of you that caught his stream this morning, it was really interesting. He talked a bit about the War of Rohirrim. I actually also had plans to talk about the War of Rohirrim, so surprise, if you've watched his stream, now you get a double dose. I'm actually really excited because War of Rohirrim has started to debut across the world. It is not officially out across all countries yet. I think worldwide it will go out December 12th, and then I think in the United States it actually premieres on December 13th. I don't know why the States is a day later, but maybe it has something to do with when their box office releases things. I don't know. So for those of us that live anywhere besides the States, we will be tuning in on Thursday this week to watch the new show. Some interesting stuff. So right now it has only made about $2 million at the box office. which is it's not boding well for the movie. Um, that said, it hasn't debuted in the States. It hasn't also debuted in New Zealand, which is thought to be a rather large market for Lord of the Rings. So there's a chance that the viewership could go up. But the other side of this is because it is an anime. Um, it's thought that you lose about half of your projected audience when you convert from a live play or a what you call it, live action, a live action movie such as the Peter Jackson series to a anime version. So there is a chance that we've lost some viewers because of the form of media they've decided to present it in. Um, but for those of us who are fans of anime or who are open to other forms of media, um, we're definitely looking forward to this. Unfortunately, for myself, so I am a mother to a baby. So unfortunately, theaters are not geared towards new families. They're not geared towards crying babies and diaper changes and breastfeeding. Um, it's just not the type of environment that's meant for people such as myself. So unfortunately, they will be losing a viewer in myself for their debut in theaters. But that isn't to say that you guys shouldn't reach out and go to see this in theaters if you are interested in the movie. And even if you aren't interested in the movie, I encourage you to still take a peek at it because I think it is a good I think it's good to support different forms of Tolkien media. And if we want to see more Tolkien media, we need to rally and show that there is a market for these people. Because at the end of the day, they do not make this for no profit. At the end of the day, they have to turn over a profit that shows that it's worthwhile to continue to provide us with different medias. So if you're able to, please support the War of Rohirrim. It is supposed to be a really good film, and we'll actually let's pop up an image on stream for you guys. Open image. Ooh, that is very tiny. Why is that so tiny? Open. Oh, there we go. All right. We've got fixed. All right. There we go. All right. It's a little messy looking, but I really like this. So, Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. So this is something that Peter Jackson is a producer on. So if you like the Peter Jackson movies, I believe that The War of Rohirrim is actually supposed to be based on his interpretation of Tolkien's work. So if you liked the regular movies, this should tickle your fancy. And it is directed by Kenji Kamiyama. So Kenji Kamiyama, to my memory, did Ghost in a Shell. which is a rather popular, more mature anime movie. Um, and he's got like a very mature, serious a style of movies. Now, couple things about this movie. So, just looking online, um, we're gonna go through a couple reviews that we have here. So, uh, this is so this one reads, new anime film Lord of the Rings War of Rohirrim contains many settings introduced in the original Lord of the Rings live-action film trilogy by Peter Jackson. Following Rohirrim's world premiere at London's Odin Lux Leicester Square, executive producer Peter Jackson claimed that it includes essential lore about Helm's Deep, a particular Middle-earth region that is dear to countless Tolkien fans. Uh, War of Rohirrim had its first public screening on December 3rd. Jackson himself was in attendance alongside director Kenji Kamiyama and major Lord of the Rings stars such as McKellen, so Gandalf, Andy Serkis, Gollum, and Billy Boyd, Pippin. Not long after the credits rolled, Peter Jackson warmly praised Kamiyama's handling of the film's story, which centers on the violent conflict between the Kingdom of Rohan and brutal Dunlending lord known as Wolf. From the opening scene, it was magnificent. The way the story unfolded and built momentum towards the climax was captivating, Jackson said. Um, War of the Rohirrim War of Rohirrim is set approximately 200 years prior to the events of Jackson's trilogy. The story primarily follows King Helm Hammerhand's daughter Hera, the young heroine who leads Rohan's army against Wolf's forces. In one pivotal battle, Helm's Deep, the same fortress that appears in The Two Towers, serves as the main stage. According to Jackson, his loose adaptation of Tolkien's original narrative includes the explanation of how the iconic saying acquired its name. This film delves not only into the story of King Helm Hammerhead, but also explains why it became known as Helm's Deep. It's incredible that this film sheds light on such an essential part of the Lord of the Rings lore, Jackson said. At the premiere, Kamiyama also described some of the cinematic techniques he used when making War of the Rohirrim. Though it's an animated feature, we use techniques similar to live-action filmmaking. By recreating structures in 3D space, we carefully chose camera angles and compositions to craft a sense of realism. I hope audiences will take note of this. Notably, Kamiyama worked exclusively with 3D animation during the making of Blade Runner, Black Lotus, an animated adaptation of Ridley Scott's Blade Runner films. Kamiyama's unique directorial approach is likely to make War of Rohirrim more accessible to Lord of the Rings fans who are comparatively more accustomed to live action than anime. As for Lord of the Rings fans in Asia, Peter Jackson is confident that his new adaptation will live up to their high expectations. Kenji Kamiyama has created an extraordinary piece of work, he stated in a comment geared towards Japanese fans. This film was brought to life by hundreds of Japanese animators and artists whose craftsmanship deserves immense praise. I hope you'll love this film as much as we do. Alright, so with this film, there's a couple things. It isn't going to be quite as involved as the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because number one, it is a one-off film. This is not to set the stage for later films in the series. It is a neatly wrapped movie to present one thing. Some people will praise that, some people will hate on it. One of the criticisms about the Hobbit films was that they took one book and they stretched it over 3 movies, and lots of people thought that that was in poor taste. Lots of people also thought that that they could have shortened it to one film for The Hobbit. I personally really liked the way that they did the Hobbit films because I feel that a lot of character development would have been lost if we just had one film to show it. So take take some lessons from The Hobbit. One of the benefits is, yes, we get this densely packed movie with all the storyline right there. But some of the character development might be missing because we don't have any pre-standing understandings of who these characters are. We haven't many of these characters. You're not going to find Aragorn in the list of characters for this film. So take it with a grain of salt. Um, we're gonna move on now to the Hunt for Gollum. So let me just see if I can pull up a good image here. That's a good image. All right. I'm gonna pop this up on the stream here. All right. Hunt for Gollum. All right. So the Hunt for Gollum. So this is not an official an official poster. Is a fan made poster that I think is just really cool. Um, there we go. So Hunt for Gollum. Lots of people are wondering what's happening with this. Part of the thing about the Hunt for Gollum is it is relying on some of the numbers to come in from War of Rohirrim to see if it's even worthwhile for this movie to go forward. But here's a thing. So recently, let me find it here. So recently, with the Hunt for Gollum, I need to find the thing I found here. It was confirmed that the screenwriter for The Hunt for Gollum, Philippa Boyens, has not yet finished the script for The Hunt for Gollum. So this this thing is going to be based around Aragorn. Aragorn is a pivotal character in The Hunt for Gollum. And Viggo Mortensen, our Aragorn, who played in the Peter Jackson series, has not confirmed that he will reprise his role until he reads the script that that Philippa puts out. So we're hoping that she presents a compelling script, that she presents something that entices him to reprise his role. But we also have to be aware there's a chance that he doesn't feel compelled to reprise this role. And there's a few people in the Lord of the Rings series that feel the same way about stuff. For example, the actor who plays Elrond in the Peter Jackson series has said that he will deny any further approaches for him to reprise his role. Partly because he's tired of the series, but also because he feels that he's getting too old to play this role. And we had to remember, we're 20 years past when the original Peter Jackson films aired. Vigo does not look like how he did. And if some of you guys have in your head the idea that Vigo will look exactly like how he did in the Lord of the Rings films, you are sadly mistaken. Thank you so much for the follow, I can't pronounce all that. T-Man 123 123 and such and so forth. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So Vigo will not be what he used to be. He's definitely going to be older. I'm actually kind of wondering if they're going to use some CGI to make him look younger in order to fit with the time period. Because in the Lord of the Rings films, the hunt for Gollum takes place before we even meet Aragorn. It's what happens before Frodo leaves the Shire. So when we meet him in Bree, this is after the events of the hunt for Gollum. So I'm curious to see how they're going to approach that. I think they're probably going to have to use CGI in order to make him appear younger. And I'm hoping that it's not obvious. I'm hoping that it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. Because I really appreciate Vigo. I think he's an amazing actor. I think that he played the role admirably. His dedication to Tolkien, his dedication to the role, to the way that he presented the role. He was very dedicated. He did all the sword fighting. He gave 110% with that. He loved the horses. He did regular hikes. He slept in his armor. He modified his outfit. He was just really, really dedicated to the role. He learned Elvish. There's just so much about the actor that lives up to our expectations and lives up to our fantasies about the role of Aragorn. So if he doesn't accept this role, I think a lot of fans will be very crushed about it. I am hoping that if he doesn't accept the role, that they decide to go in a different narrative direction about it. So with the hunt for Gollum, so part of the issues that I foresee, this is obviously going to be set in Peter Jackson's interpretation of the universe, and that's obvious by the way that they're choosing Vigo to or approaching Vigo to portray Aragorn. If they weren't saying it in Peter Jackson's universe, they would choose a different actor. But the issue I foresee is how this actually played out in Peter Jackson's films is way different from the books. Because in the books, there's let's see here. There are 16 years between when Gandalf left the Shire to seek out news of Gollum to when Aragorn caught Gollum. So there's 16 years in the books. And that's a huge period of time. In Peter Jackson's films, Gandalf basically left the Shire and Frodo followed right back behind him. It's like a period of a few months in the film series. So we, and to be honest, it might even be less than that. It might be less than a few months um, because of the other things that they have already established Gandalf as doing between when he left the Shire to when he saw Frodo again. So we might have even less time. So I'm really curious to see how they decide to present this in the script. I'm still going to watch it regardless. Regardless if they don't present it in a way that I think is in a way that I don't think is going to represent the work accurately, regardless of if they get Vigo as Aragorn or not. I'm still going to support this because I think it's important to support Lord of the Rings media. But I'm very, very curious to find out how this is going to go. So this is tentatively slated to premiere in 2026. So we will keep an eye on it. I'm curious. I'm very curious to find out what's happening with this. All right. So quick other note about Tolkien news. Let me just. That's a good photo. I gotta give you guys good photos. All right, open image. That's good. All right. Let's change the size of this. All right, there we go. Moving on to Rings of Power. So Rings of Power has officially been confirmed for season 3. Filming season 3 is currently underway and was confirmed by the showrunners Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne. This series is cementing itself as one of Prime Video's most successful originals. There is of course mixed reviews on this show, mixed reviews on season 1, on season 2, but in general, season 2 reviews have been much stronger than reviews from season 1. I personally was a fan of both seasons, but we will see. So despite a viewership decline, it has passed an impressive milestone for Prime Video. And this makes the Ring of Power Season 3's confirmation far less surprising. Although it's still receiving heavy criticism, it's clearly resonating enough to maintain a regular audience and move forward with its story. At this rate, it could very well fulfill the creator's 5-season plan, even despite its viewership dip from season 1. So let's see. I want to figure out what this huge milestone is. There were concerns over the Ring of Power's future after season two viewership didn't live up to season one's numbers, as season two had accumulated 55 million views ahead of its finale, while season one garnered over 150 million. However, this drop doesn't necessarily mean that the show isn't successful. In fact, the Amazon series crossed an impressive milestone that suggests it could be around for a while. Uh, Per Amazon, The Lord of the Rings show is among its top five best performing originals thanks to season two, sitting alongside hits like The Boys, Reacher, and Fallout. The Boys and Fallout. Sorry, this is just a small aside, but so I've watched part of The Boys and part of Fallout. And to be honest with you, I didn't really like them because I feel like they were trying so hard to be completely disgusting and completely obscene. Um, like it felt like they were like, okay, let's add nudity, but let's make it like content. Like it was just almost distracting. Like the way the boys and Fallout both did this, I feel like gore was completely out there, nudity was completely out there. Like just really like okay, what sorts of high high controversy topics can we hit? And they just like threw it out there, and I didn't appreciate it. It was distracting from the actual stories of those. And I felt like the stories were actually decent. There was a lot of potential with those stories. And I actually just had to quit because I couldn't get past how completely out there everything was. Um, so it's one of its top original shows. So it makes sense that the company has continued to invest in its future. Um, and they do have a 5 season plan for Rings of Power. Um, and they have, the creators have already said to the general public, this is a love project. They're not, they intend to make all 5 seasons, whether there's an audience for it or not. Which I actually really appreciate because to me it speaks volumes to them wanting to show this story rather than make a profit. Um, Uninterested or skeptical viewers likely abandoned the show after losing interest in season one, but those who stuck around through season two are probably more committed. That makes another significant drop less likely, and if Rings of Power keeps delivering compelling performances and epic battle sequences on par with those in its sophomore season, it could even pick up more viewers heading into its later outings. I feel like that's on that I agree with that because I really liked the artistic style of Rings of Power. I feel like Rings of Power was very um, visually stimulating. It was visually appealing. They had great cinematics, great artistic design. Um, I got a feeling of Tolkien's universe more strongly from what I watched in Rings of Power than what I did in watching Peter Jackson's series. And don't get me wrong, I loved Peter Jackson's films, but there was a sense of I don't know what the word is. The feelings I got from Rings of Power were more of awe and grandeur. That's the word I'm looking for. Peter Jackson's films gave me a sense of grittiness, and I really appreciate it, but it was very focused on this one story that was happening with these very specific people. You didn't really get a sense of what was happening in the greater world. And in Rings of Power, I get a sense of the immensity of Tolkien's universe. And that's one of the reasons I like Rings of Power. And if you want to fight me on it, you know, have at her, I guess. All right. All right, so there's one other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and this thing I'm actually really, really excited about. Um, because it's not something that anyone else, well, I shouldn't say anyone else, it's not something that is likely to be seen on other streams. So, big, alert, 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 announcement thing. Wait, let me go back to Lord of the Rings role playing. All right, so this is related specifically to Free League Publishings. Free League Publishing's Lord of the Rings role-playing system for 5th edition. Let me get the information here, because I'm really excited that I can talk to you guys about this, because all right. So, let me just find the information here. So there is a person for Free League Publishing. I should start up. 3 days ago, so this past weekend, Free League Publishing has a YouTube channel, and they had a live stream kind of Q&A for Free League Publishing, and they had 3 different people there to speak to some of these questions, and one of the panelists in Free League Publishing had said, because somebody had asked what the future holds for the One Ring system. And the One Ring, for those of you that don't know, is a Lord of the Rings dedicated system. It's a standalone system. And it is actually what Lord of the Rings role-playing for 5th edition is based off of. So the 2 systems, the One Ring and Lord of the Rings 5e, share the same stories. They, when something's released on one system, it's released on the other system, just with, different details for how to integrate that stuff for the different systems. So we know that if something is announced for one, it's announced for the other. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys, because I'm really excited about this, and I hope you guys are excited about it too. It's an announcement of an announcement's announcement. This announcement inception. During this stream, someone asked, what's in the future? And during the stream, one of the panelists had said that this week, so the week we are in right now, they believe that they are going to be able to put out an announcement about an upcoming content for the One Ring system. So this week, they expect to potentially put out an announcement. He did, stipulate, he hopes that they're able to put out this week, and he can't guarantee that the announcement will be this week, but we can hope. And if it's not this week, it's probably going to be next week, because if they are gearing up to potentially put out this week, at worst, they're going to put out in the very near future. So probably this week we will be hearing from Free League Publishing about new content coming to the One Ring system and the Lord of the Rings role-playing for 5e system, which is very exciting for those of you who are like me and just love this system. Is very exciting. So what's some theories about what it could be? We actually have some theories about what it can be. A couple things. Some people have speculated that with the War of Rohirrim, that Free League Publishing will be building on the Rohan bandwagon and adding a source book, or a I guess source book is the best term for it. Setting book, a setting book for Rohan, to build upon the crescendo of excitement around War of the Rohirrim. So there has been some speculation. Oh, there could be a saying book about Rohan. Some other people have speculated that there could be a campaign book following the Moria setting book that was released earlier this, I guess it was technically released in the fall, but earlier this year, a few months back, they did release the Moria supplement, which in Lord of the Rings 5th edition was the Moria Shadow of Khazad-dûm book. One Ring had a different title that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. So there has been some speculation that there will be a campaign book for Moria. And campaign book for Moria, they've actually usually done, a saying book and then a campaign book, with their current trends. It's within reason that they would have a campaign book. But we have information, and this is the information that I don't think that any other streamer is really going to present to you guys, because I don't think a lot of people are on the same Discord that I am, because I actually found this out from a Discord that's dedicated to Lord of the Rings stuff, and so there's lots of people who are involved in different social medias throughout the interwebs, and there is this tidbit. Dan Algstrand, Algstrand. Okay, I can pronounce it now. Dan Algstrand, who has done art for Free League Publishing in the past. I don't know his involvement with Lord of the Rings or the One Ring system, but he has been involved in Free League Publishing, so we know that he is involved in Free League Publishing. So someone asked about what was coming to the One Ring system, and Dan confirmed the following. So he said the One Ring book will be called Realms of the Three Rings, and the Lord of the Rings role-playing book will be called Keepers of the Elven Rings. He said, I know we'll be in them, but you'll have to wait for an official announcement from Free League. I can probably say that the illustrations for these books are even more amazing than in previous books, if you can believe that. So, Realms of the Three Rings and Keepers of the Elven Rings. You've heard it here. New content coming from Free League Publishing for the One Ring system, for Lord of the Rings 5e system. What could potentially be in these books? Well, we get some hints from some of the stuff that is discernible from the titles of these books. So with the titles of these books, we can discern that it's going to be, Elvish. It's going to be about the rings. But what does that mean? Where could it be? So some of the theories about where they could potentially set this is Lothlorien, Eriador, not Eriador, but Eregion, and Lindon. So it's likely that those are going to be our three settings for these books. It's likely that, because they said it's Realms of the Three Rings and Keepers of the Elven Rings. So we know it's going to be elvish realms, and we know it's going to be multiple realms because they use a plural in the title, and three rings. So we think about the elves that had the three elvish rings, and it's likely to be Lothlorien. It's likely to be Lindon, and then there's a potential it could be like Austin Edel. It could be it could even be Rivendell, though I'm guessing it's not going to be Rivendell because there is a supplement out already for Rivendell, and it's just like a little like pamphlet basically. It's like, I don't know, 15 pages maybe. There's not a lot of information in it. It's very thin. I don't think that they're going to expand upon that with a full campaign or a full setting book. So I think it's going to more likely be Lindon, Eregion, and Lothlorien. What do you guys think it's going to be? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Another thing that I gleaned from this Discord, and I can't really confirm where this rumor came from, but according to some people on the Discord, we have had hints that there's going to be an adventuring book involving Saruman. And we know that during the time frame that Lord of the Rings role-playing is typically set in, which is about 20 years, 20-ish years after Bilbo Baggins returned from the Lonely Mountain. We know that during this time, Saruman was already under the influence of Sauron. We already know that he is doing sketchy things. He's got his own followers of the White Hand who are going around doing sketchy things, and we have seen in the existing supplements them doing sketchy things throughout Eregion. So, Eriador, not Eregion, Eriador. So we know that Saruman is up to no good. We know that he has an interest in the Palantir. We know that he's amassing power and information so that he can advance the agenda of Sauron. So some people have theorized maybe this Saruman adventure has to do with the Moria adventure. Um, I'm curious to see if that's the case. Um, I think there's definitely a chance that we could see Saruman in the Moria adventure. Um, but I guess we'll have to stay tuned. Um, so that is the exciting news I had to share with you guys today. Um, I hope that you guys are excited about that as I am. I am absolutely over the moon about it. I'm really excited to see when they announce it. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for any announcements from Free League Publishing. And I hope you guys are as well. I hope that you guys are subscribed to various Free League Publishing content, that you are supporting Free League Publishing content because it is so worth it. All right, you guys. So I am intending to stream again tomorrow, hopefully. I do, there is a chance, I should say, that I don't stream tomorrow. Keep an eye on my social media. So if you don't already follow me on Blue Sky, it's down there, right below my camera. thephoenix.bluesky.social. Blue Sky is basically Twitter, but better. I will post all about whether I am streaming or not there on Blue Sky. So if you guys follow me there, you will be able to tell if I'm going to stream or not. I will say there is a chance I might not stream at all later this week or tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. The reason being is because my mother-in-law broke her arm. So I'm actually going to be reaching out to her today to ask her if she needs a hand around the house, if she wants me and my baby to hang out over there. So if we are going over to her house to, you know, help with horses and the shop and bison and cleaning and all that kind of stuff, I probably won't be streaming because I will be busy helping her. But that's a-okay. There are tons of other great streamers out there for you guys to check out. One of which is the Kindly Cleric, who will be streaming again tomorrow morning for his Tabletop Tuesdays. We also have someone who just went live. The Death Save Society is currently streaming your weekly con save. So please check out those amazing folks for more information. I am going to get off here so that I can go tend to my baby. But thank you guys for tuning in with me today, and we will see you again when we're able to. All right, take care, everybody, and be kind to yourselves this week.